Tonight, as you drift off, let your mind wander to a place most people never think to explore. The hidden depths of the internet. Imagine it as a very still ocean, vast and quiet. Most of us only ever skim its sunlit surface. But beneath lies something far more mysterious. Let's descend together gently. Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean, looking out at the water. The surface stretches before you, catching the light, sparkling and familiar. You can see everything here. The waves, the color, the occasional glint of a fish just beneath the surface. This is the internet most of us know. The websites we visit every day, the ones that Google can find and index and hand back to us in an instant. Wikipedia, social media, news sites, online shops. All of that bright, accessible, easily navigated world. And yet, as vast as it feels when you are scrolling through it, all of that, every page you have ever visited through a search engine, accounts for only somewhere between 5 and 10% of the entire internet. The sunlit surface is beautiful and busy and endlessly varied. But it is only the very beginning of something far, far deeper. Beneath the surface, the light begins to change. It softens. It stretches into longer and longer shafts before eventually fading into a gentle blue-gray twilight. This is where the deep web begins. And if the surface web is the glittering top of the ocean, then the deep web is everything below it, the vast, quiet, largely unseen majority. Roughly 90% of the internet lives here, in this twilight zone. Not because it is secret exactly, not because anything sinister is hiding in the dimness, but simply because it is not indexed. Search engines have not catalogued it. It is not meant to be stumbled upon by strangers. Think about your email inbox for a moment. When you log in and read a message from a friend, that page exists on the internet, but Google cannot find it. It is behind a password, tucked away, private by design. The same is true of your online banking portal, your medical records stored in a hospital database, the internal systems that universities use to manage research, the private archives that corporations maintain for their own operations. None of these are dangerous or mysterious. They are simply the quiet, workaday portions of the internet that were never meant to be public. The deep web is, in this sense, rather like the middle waters of the ocean, below the reach of sunlight, yes, but absolutely full of life. teeming, in fact, with the ordinary activity of billions of people going about their business in private. It is worth pausing here for a moment just to let that proportion settle. 90%. Imagine spending your whole life swimming only in the top few feet of the ocean, never knowing that beneath you stretched miles and miles of water, of rock formations, of quietly drifting things. That is more or less the relationship most of us have with the internet. We skim the surface, which is warm and well lit, and more than sufficient for most of what we need. And the deep, still waters below go largely unvisited and unnoticed. And then, nested even further down, within the deep web itself, there is something else. Something smaller. Something that requires not just a password to reach, but a different kind of vehicle altogether, a different way of navigating the water. This is the dark web. And before you let the name conjure anything alarming, just stay with the ocean for a moment longer. Think of the abyssal plain, the very deepest parts of the ocean floor, where the pressure is immense, where sunlight has never once reached, where the landscape is alien and strange and almost entirely unexplored by human eyes. The dark web is something like that, tiny by comparison to everything above it, perhaps 1/100% of the entire internet, home to somewhere around 30,000 active sites at any given time. In the grand scheme of the ocean, it is the narrowest sliver of the deepest trench. And like the abyssal plain, it is not empty. It is not lifeless. It simply exists under very different conditions than the world above. To visit it, you need special software. To find anything within it, you need to know where to look, because ordinary maps do not extend this far down. And the addresses of the sites that live here do not end in .com or .org. They end in something quieter, something that already hints at the layered, wrapped, protected nature of this place. They end in onion. That small detail, onion, carries more meaning than it might seem to at first. It is not arbitrary. It is a deliberate clue about how this part of the internet works, about how information moves through it, wrapped in layer after layer, each one peeled back only at the right moment, only by the right hands. But we will come to that. For now, just hold the image of the ocean in your mind, the bright, busy surface, the vast and quietly ordinary twilight below. And then, far beneath all of that, a small, strange, pressurized world that most people will never visit, existing not in chaos, but in a kind of extraordinary, engineered darkness. The internet has depths that most maps do not show. And somewhere in the mid-1990s, a small group of researchers sat down together and asked a question so simple it almost sounds naive. A question that would eventually give this hidden layer its shape. We will find them there in a moment, at the very beginning of it all. Let us travel back to 1995, to a place that does not sound particularly romantic. The corridors of the United States Naval Research Laboratory in Washington, D.C. The Cold War had only recently exhaled its last breath. The internet was young, barely adolescent, still finding its footing. And somewhere inside that laboratory, 3 researchers sat with a question that was, on the surface, quite simple, and yet would echo forward through decades in ways none of them could fully imagine. Their names were David Goldschlag, Mike Reed, and Paul Syverson. And the question they were asking was this: is there a way to move information across the public internet without revealing who is speaking to whom? Not what is being said, not the contents of the message, but the very fact of the conversation itself, the relationship between sender and receiver. Could that be hidden? Could 2 parties communicate in plain sight and yet remain invisible to anyone watching? It sounds like the beginning of a spy novel. And in some ways, it was. The original purpose was to protect American intelligence communications, to allow agents and analysts to browse and share information across the ordinary internet, without their activity being traceable back to government servers. The elegant idea was to hide sensitive traffic inside the noise of everyday internet use. To be, in a sense, camouflaged by the crowd. And the answer they arrived at was something they called onion routing. Imagine, for a moment, an onion. Not sliced open, but whole, layer upon layer wrapped around a tender center. Now imagine that your message, your data, is that center. Before it travels anywhere, it is wrapped in a layer of encryption, then wrapped again and again, each layer addressed not to the final destination, but only to the next stop along a winding, unpredictable path of servers called relay nodes. As the message passes through each relay, that node peels away exactly 1 layer, and only 1. It can read just enough to know where to send it next. It cannot see what lies beneath. It cannot see where the message originally came from. Each node knows only its immediate neighbor, the one before and the one ahead. The whole path is known to no single point in the chain. By the time the message arrives at its destination, all the layers have been gently removed, one by one, like the petals of a flower opening in slow motion, and no one along the way held the full picture. There is something quietly beautiful about this. A system designed for concealment, built on the principle of shared ignorance, and at its heart lived a paradox, one of the most elegant paradoxes in the history of technology. For the system to protect anyone, it had to be used by everyone. Think about that for a moment. If only government intelligence officers used this network, then the mere presence of traffic on that network would instantly identify it as government intelligence traffic. Anonymity, it turns out, is not a solo act. It requires a crowd. You can only disappear into a forest if there is a forest to disappear into. And so, by necessity, the tool had to be shared, released into the world, made available to anyone. This was not just a practical decision, it was almost a philosophical one. Privacy, to be meaningful, had to be universal. This is where something unexpected and rather wonderful happened. The US Navy found itself in an unlikely alliance with a community of people known as cypherpunks, digital idealists, cryptographers, and freedom advocates who believed deeply that privacy was a fundamental human right and that encryption was its guardian. These were people who had spent years arguing that the architecture of the internet was by default a surveillance machine, and that the only antidote was mathematics. They did not share every value with the Naval Research Laboratory. But on this, they agreed. The tool must be open, and it must be used by many. The thread of this story then moves forward, as all good stories do. In March of 2000, a young Irish student at the University of Edinburgh named Ian Clarke released something called Freenet, the first truly decentralized anonymous network, built on the belief that information, once shared, could not and should not be controlled. It was fragile and imperfect and visionary. And then came Roger Dingledine, an MIT graduate who took up the Naval Research Laboratory's onion routing project and gave it a name that would become quietly famous: Tor. The Onion Routing Project. His classmate Nick Mathewson joined him, and in September of 2002, the Tor network went live, its code released as free and open source software, available to anyone with the curiosity to use it. In those first tender years, the network was tiny. By the end of 2003, there were only about a dozen volunteer relay nodes, a small, fragile constellation, most of them in the United States, one solitary node in Germany. You might picture them as lighthouses, far apart, blinking quietly in the dark. But the network grew. In 2004, the Electronic Frontier Foundation began to fund Tor. The Naval Research Laboratory released the code under a free license. By 2006, the Tor project was formally incorporated as a non-profit organization, and its early funders read like a quiet roll call of democratic conscience: the US State Department, DARPA, Google, Human Rights Watch, the government of Sweden. The stated purpose was to aid democracy advocates living under authoritarian regimes, to give a voice to the voiceless, to let the persecuted whisper without being heard by those who wished them harm. Sit with that for a moment as you let yourself grow still. The dark web did not begin in shadow. It began in idealism. It was built by researchers and dreamers who believed that privacy was not something to be ashamed of, but something to be protected. A quiet, stubborn act of faith in human freedom. And now, having seen where this network came from and held the onion gently in our hands, let us peel back one more layer and look slowly and with great care at exactly how it works. Imagine holding an onion in your hands. Not a dramatic gesture, just a quiet moment of observation. You notice the layers, each one thin and papery, each one wrapped carefully around the next, the center hidden until you are patient enough to peel your way there. The Tor network works in much the same way. And if you allow yourself to simply sit with that image for a moment, the mechanics of how it all functions will arrive quite naturally, like something half remembered rather than something new. When you open the Tor browser and type in an address, your request does not travel in a straight line the way it normally would. On the ordinary surface web, your message moves from your device directly to your destination, announcing itself along the way, carrying your IP address like a name badge pinned to a jacket. Tor does something different, something more considered, something almost choreographed. Before your request even begins its journey, the Tor software consults a public directory, a kind of open registry of thousands of volunteer-run servers scattered across the world. These servers are called relay nodes, and from this vast distributed network, Tor quietly selects 3 of them at random to form a path. This path is called a circuit. Think of it as a private hallway assembled just for you, just for this moment, made of 3 rooms, each one opened by a different key. Now here is where the onion truly comes to life. Before your message sets off down that hallway, it is wrapped. Not once, but 3 times. A layer of encryption is added for the third relay. Then another layer is added around that for the second relay. And then a final, outermost layer is wrapped around everything for the first relay. 3 shells nested inside one another, like those painted Russian dolls that open to reveal another doll, and then another, and then one more. Your message sits at the very center, patient and protected. The journey begins at the entry node, sometimes called the guard node. This is the first door your data walks through. The guard node can see you. It knows your IP address. It knows something is arriving from your direction, but it cannot see where you are going. It holds only a key to the outermost layer. It peels that layer away, the way you might lift the first sheet of an onion, and it finds inside not your message, but simply an instruction. Pass this along to the next address. It does not know what it is carrying. It does not need to. It simply passes the still-sealed bundle forward and steps quietly out of the story. The second server, the middle relay, receives the package. It knows nothing about you. It does not know where this data originated, and it does not know where it is ultimately headed. It knows only its own small task. It holds a key to the second layer, the one that was hidden beneath the first. It peels that layer gently away and finds another instruction. Pass this along to the next address. And so it does, passing the innermost bundle onward, its role complete. Finally, the exit node receives what remains. One last layer of encryption, one last key. It removes that final shell and the original message is revealed. Your request for a web page, a document, a connection of some kind. The exit node knows the destination. It knows where to deliver what it carries, but it has no idea who sent it. It cannot see back through the chain. It sees only the middle relay behind it and the destination ahead. And this is the quiet elegance at the heart of the whole design. No single point in the chain ever holds the complete picture. The guard node knows the beginning, but not the end. The exit node knows the end, but not the beginning. The middle relay knows neither. The whole system is built on the understanding that knowledge, kept partial, becomes a form of protection. The keys themselves are exchanged through a method called Diffie-Hellman key exchange, a mathematical process that allows 2 parties to agree on a shared secret without ever directly handing that secret to one another. Imagine 2 people agreeing on a color by mixing paints in public, neither one revealing their private shade, yet both arriving at the same result. It is elegant in the way that deep mathematics often is, surprising at first, and then, once understood, feeling almost inevitable. and the circuit does not last forever. Tor periodically dismantles the path and builds a new one, selecting fresh relays, generating new keys, beginning again. Patterns, which are often more revealing than individual acts, become slippery, difficult to hold on to, difficult to trace. There is one more thing worth resting with before we move on. A small statistic, quietly reassuring. Of all the traffic that flows through the Tor network, only about 1.5% is actually destined for dark web addresses. 1.5%. The rest, the vast, unhurried majority, is simply people browsing ordinary websites, reading the news, checking their email, moving through the familiar surface of the internet just as they always have, only wrapped in a little more quiet, a little more privacy, carrying their name badge in their pocket rather than pinned to their chest. The hidden ocean, it turns out, is mostly full of ordinary travelers. And when we ask ourselves who those travelers actually are, who chooses to walk through the layered hallways of Tor, who reaches for that extra measure of privacy, the answer is far more varied and far more human than most of us would ever expect. If you were to stand at the edge of this hidden ocean and watch who swam through its waters, you might be surprised by what you see. Not monsters, mostly, not shadows with ill intent. Mostly, you would see people who simply needed a door that no one could lock. Let us begin with the ones who rarely get mentioned, the quiet majority. Some of the most trusted names in journalism have set up what you might think of as secret reading rooms, mirror versions of their websites tucked inside the Onion network, accessible only through Tor. The New York Times is there, the Washington Post, the Guardian, the BBC, ProPublica, the Economist. These are not rogue operations. They are deliberate acts of care, built for readers in countries where the news is controlled, filtered, or simply forbidden. A journalist in Tehran, a student in Beijing, a dissident in Moscow. For them, these onion sites are not curiosities. They are lifelines. And then there is something called Secure Drop. Imagine a mailbox that no one can trace back to you. A place where you could slide a document through a slot, walk away, and know with certainty that no one saw you, no one followed you, and no one could ever prove you were there. That is what Secure Drop does. It was originally developed by Aaron Swartz, Kevin Paulson, and James Dolan. People who believed that the ability to speak truth to power should not come at the cost of your freedom or your safety. Today, more than 60 news organizations around the world use it to receive sensitive documents from anonymous sources. It is one of the dark web's most quietly heroic inventions. WikiLeaks, founded by Julian Assange in 2006, brought this world into sharp public focus. In 2010, a young US Army analyst named Chelsea Manning passed an enormous trove of classified military documents to WikiLeaks. The files contained records of airstrikes, diplomatic cables, accounts of things governments would have preferred the world never see. It was controversial, deeply so, and it opened a conversation about secrecy and accountability that has never fully closed. Beyond journalism, consider the activists and the quietly brave. In Iran, in 2022, a young woman named Mahsa Amini died in the custody of the morality police. The grief that followed became a movement, and the government responded not just with force, but with silence. Internet blackouts rolled out across the country like a heavy curtain being drawn. Authorities used registered SIM cards and digital footprints to identify critics within hours. People who had spoken out found themselves at the door. Tor and the dark web became, for some, the only remaining whisper in the darkness. In China, the Great Firewall blocks thousands of foreign websites. Citizens must register online accounts with their real names. Biometric data is collected. The digital world, for many, is a carefully curated garden with very high walls. For those who wish to look over those walls, to read uncensored news, to speak freely, to simply connect with the wider world, the Onion Network offers something rare: a window. In Russia, laws passed since 2012 have steadily expanded the government's ability to block websites and compel internet providers to store and hand over user data. And so, it should come as little surprise that in late 2023, nearly 30% of Tor's secret bridge relay users, the most hidden and most protected kind of Tor connections, were connecting from Russia. Nearly 1 in 3. Think about that for a moment. These are not criminals. These are people trying to read, to speak, to simply exist online without being watched. Even the institutions we most associate with the visible world have found their way here. The CIA operates an onion site. Facebook, yes, that Facebook, maintains an onion mirror so that users in countries that block the platform can still connect. DuckDuckGo, the search engine that does not track you, serves as Tor's default search engine. ProtonMail, the encrypted email service, is accessible through its own onion address. The dark web, in these moments, feels less like a hidden ocean and more like an alternate road, one that leads to the same destinations, just without the toll booths that collect your data along the way. And yet, the full picture asks us to hold something else too. Approximately 57% of dark web content is estimated to facilitate some form of illegal activity. About 6.7% of Tor's daily users engage in something illicit. These are not numbers we should whisper past. Shadow marketplaces exist here, places where stolen things are bought and sold like ordinary goods. A social security number for $1 to $4, a stolen credit card for about $10, a full identity package, name, address, date of birth, account details for $20 to $50. Billions of passwords circulate in the deep, harvested from data breaches, sold in quiet corners. These are real harms, real people whose information was taken without their knowledge, whose identities became someone else's transaction. We do not look away from that. But here is the thing about mirrors. A mirror does not create what it reflects. The dark web, in its truest sense, is a mirror held up to human behavior, showing us what people do when they believe no one is watching. Some of what we see there is noble, courage, curiosity, the stubborn insistence on truth. Some of what we see there is troubling. Greed, exploitation, the willingness to harm for small profit. The ocean contains both. It always has. This is the full portrait then. Not a place of pure menace, not a place of pure virtue, but a place that holds the entire spectrum of what we are. Journalists and thieves, dissidents and criminals, whistleblowers and shadow merchants, people trying to stay safe and people willing to make others unsafe. And somewhere within all of this complexity, at a particular moment in time, a young man with a physics degree sat down with the dream of something he called a free marketplace. A place where adults could trade freely, without interference, without judgment. His story is where we go next, and it is one of the most fascinating and most human stories the dark web has ever produced. There is a particular kind of dreamer who looks at the world and sees not what is, but what could be, who reads history and thinks the rules we live by are not natural laws. They are agreements. And agreements, if you are clever enough, can be rewritten. Ross Ulbricht was that kind of dreamer. He was 26 years old when he built it. A Texan, educated in physics, drawn to the ideas of libertarian philosophy. The the belief that individuals should be free to make their own choices without the long arm of government reaching into the transaction. He had studied how matter behaves at its smallest scales, how particles move through space, how systems organize themselves. And perhaps that training gave him a particular way of seeing that the world is made of structures, and structures can be redesigned. In January of 2011, he launched a website. He called it the Silk Road, after the ancient network of trade routes that once stitched together the civilizations of China, Central Asia, Persia, and Europe. For centuries, those routes carried silk and spices, knowledge and religion, art and language across vast distances. They existed not because any single empire built them, but because people simply wanted to reach each other. The name was poetic. It was intentional. It spoke of something older than any law, older than any nation, the human desire to exchange. His marketplace lived in the hidden ocean we have been exploring together. Deep beneath the surface web, accessible only through the layered waters of Tor, it glowed like a quiet, bioluminescent thing in the dark. And people found it. He gave himself a name to match the vision: Dread Pirate Roberts. If you have ever watched The Princess Bride or read William Goldman's novel it was drawn from, you may remember that the Dread Pirate Roberts is not quite a person. The name is passed from one captain to the next, like a torch, like a title. The terror of the name is the point. The individual beneath it is almost irrelevant. By choosing this alias, Ulbricht seemed to be saying, I am not the thing. The idea is the thing. The marketplace is the thing. I am just the one tending it right now. The Silk Road accepted only Bitcoin. This was a currency that had barely existed for 2 years, conjured in 2009 by someone calling themselves Satoshi Nakamoto, a name that may belong to a person or a group of people, or to no one living at all. Bitcoin moved through the internet without banks, without middlemen, without names attached to wallets. It suited the Silk Road the way deep water suits a creature that has never needed light. And people came. Over the years the Silk Road operated, it facilitated more than $1.2 billion in transactions. At its height, there were roughly 13,000 listings for controlled substances, substances that people in many countries could be imprisoned for simply possessing. Whether that is a tragedy, or a liberation, or something achingly complicated that lives between those two words, is not for us to settle here in the quiet of the night. The Silk Road raised those questions. It did not answer them. But here is the part of the story that carries the weight of a fable. In those earliest days, when the Silk Road was just beginning, when it was still a fragile and flickering thing that almost no one knew existed, Ulbricht made a small, quiet, entirely human mistake. He posted about his new project on an online forum, looking for early visitors, using the username Altoid. A small act, a hopeful act, the kind of thing anyone might do when they have built something and want the world to notice. Some months later, posting as Altoid on a different forum, on a different subject entirely, he included his personal Gmail address, his real one, the one attached to his real name. Two separate moments, two separate forums, one username connecting them. For a long time, no one saw the thread. The dark web is vast, and the early internet is vast, and most things disappear into the noise. But an IRS special agent named Gary Alford, meticulous and unhurried, was doing something very simple. He was searching Google for the earliest mentions of the Silk Road's URL. He was reading old forum posts the way an archaeologist brushes soil from a fragment of pottery. And there it was. The username Altoid, and attached to it eventually a name, Ross Ulbricht. On the 1st of October 2013, FBI agents found him in the science fiction section of the Glen Park Library in San Francisco. His laptop was open. He was working. Two agents staged a small theatrical disturbance nearby, a mock argument, sudden and loud, drawing his eyes for just a moment. And in that moment, a third agent reached over his shoulder and took the computer, quickly, cleanly, before he could press a key, before he could encrypt it, before the door could close. The library was quiet. The science fiction novels stood in their rows, and it was over. In May of 2015, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In January of 2025, he received a presidential pardon. The story of the Silk Road is the oldest kind of story. A person with a grand vision. A world that does not bend to accommodate it, and a single, small, forgotten thread that unravels everything. But Ross Ulbricht's story was not the end of the conversation. What came after was something stranger still, a game of chess played in the dark, in which the investigators learned to think like the hidden ocean itself, using its own nature as the net. That is where we are going next. After the fall of the Silk Road, something interesting happened. The deep water did not drain away. It simply shifted, found new channels, new depths, new currents flowing in the dark. The ocean, as oceans do, kept moving. What emerged from the wreckage of the Silk Road was something even larger. Alpha Bay arrived, quietly at first, and then with a kind of staggering scale that surprised even those who were watching closely. 200,000 users, 40,000 vendors, 250,000 drug listings, over $1 billion flowing through it in Bitcoin transactions. If the Silk Road was a hidden cove, Alpha Bay was an entire submerged continent. It was founded by a Canadian man named Alexandre Cazes, who lived in Thailand, far from the cold servers and legal reach of the countries whose laws he was quietly dismantling. From the outside, he appeared unremarkable, a young entrepreneur living comfortably in the warmth of Southeast Asia. Inside the dark web, he was something else entirely, but law enforcement was changing too. The early years of chasing dark web marketplaces had taught agencies around the world something important. Rushing in with handcuffs drawn was not always the most elegant move. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply watch, listen, wait. And so they did something remarkable. On June the 20th, 2017, the Dutch National Police quietly, secretly, slipped inside Hansa Market, one of the largest dark web marketplaces at the time, and took control of it. Not to shut it down, not yet. They kept the lights on. They kept the servers humming. They kept the marketplace running as though nothing had happened at all, while beneath the surface, every transaction, every message, every login, every whispered exchange between buyers and vendors flowed directly into the hands of investigators. For nearly a month, Hansa operated normally. Users browsed listings, placed orders, sent messages they believed were private. None of them knew they were writing letters directly to the police. Then, on July 5th, United States authorities arrested Alexandre Cazes in Thailand and shut Alpha Bay down without warning. Suddenly, 200,000 users found their marketplace gone, vanished like a door that simply ceased to exist. Panic set in. Where do you go when the place you relied on disappears overnight? You go to the next largest place you know. Thousands upon thousands of displaced users flooded into Hansa Market, the one safe harbor they still trusted, the one door still open in the dark. Hansa saw an 8-fold increase in new users almost overnight. People brought their habits, their vendor relationships, their routines, and unknowingly, identities directly into a marketplace that was already in law enforcement's hands. It was a kind of digital ambush, so quiet, so patient, so precisely timed, that it has since been described as one of the most elegant operations in the history of digital policing. A net held open, waiting for the tide to bring the fish in. On July 19th, the Dutch revealed everything and closed Hansa down. The arrests that followed spread across dozens of countries, thousands of leads, thousands of cases. A vast harvest gathered from weeks of careful, silent watching. We pause here for a moment of solemnity. Alexandre Kazes died in Thai custody on July 12th, 1 week after his arrest. He was 25 years old. Whatever one thinks of what he built and why, that is a life extinguished young, and it deserves acknowledgement. The operation, named Bayonet for the way it was designed to pierce, became a kind of template, a demonstration that the most powerful moves in this long chess match are sometimes invisible ones. And the match continued. It always continues. In April of 2025, Breach Forums, a major hub for stolen data and cybercriminal exchange, was taken down in a coordinated international operation. Within weeks, its users had scattered and regrouped elsewhere, as they always do, as water always finds a lower path. In June of 2025, Operation Deep Sentinel seized Archetype Market, one of the more deeply hidden corners of the dark web. Across the African continent, a coordinated effort called Operation Serengeti led to significant arrests and the seizure of $140 million in criminal assets. A reminder that this is not a story confined to any one country or time zone. The pattern, when you step back and watch it over years, has a rhythm to it, a tide-like quality. A marketplace rises, grows large, draws attention. Investigators gather patience and intelligence. Then, quietly or suddenly, it falls. Users scatter. New platforms emerge in the spaces left behind. The infrastructure does not disappear. It grows quieter, more selective, more careful, harder to reach. The ocean does not stop being an ocean simply because a storm has passed through it. It is, in the truest sense, a story without a final chapter. There is no last page to turn, no moment where one side declares permanent victory and the other ceases to exist. It is an ongoing negotiation between the forces of transparency sometimes noble, sometimes not, to remain unseen. And that, perhaps, is the most fascinating part of all of this. Not the marketplaces, not the Bitcoin, not even the elegant operations and the carefully laid traps. Underneath everything is a much older question, one that has followed humanity through every age of technology, every shift in how we communicate and hide and connect. What does it mean to be anonymous? What does it cost us? And what does it protect? And what does it reveal about us, all of us, that we have always, in every era, found ways to speak in the dark? That question drifts ahead of us now, waiting just beyond the next turn. There is a question that sits at the heart of all of this, like a stone resting quietly on the floor of a very deep ocean. It does not demand to be answered. It only asks to be held, turned over gently in the mind, felt for its weight and its texture. The question is this: can a space be both dangerous and sacred at the same time? Can the same darkness that hides harm also shelter something irreplaceable? Researchers at Iowa State University spent time sitting with exactly this kind of question. They examined 3 of the most enduring frameworks in political philosophy, different schools of thought, each with its own language, its own values, its own way of measuring what is right. And despite arriving from very different directions, all 3 reached a similar and perhaps surprising place. Restricting access to the dark web, they concluded, is morally complicated at best and morally problematic at worst. Because anonymity is not a luxury. It is not a loophole. Anonymity is woven into the fabric of privacy itself, and privacy is woven into the fabric of what it means to be a free human being. Think of it this way. Imagine a single cloak, a garment that wraps around the shoulders of anyone who puts it on and renders them unseen. In Tehran, that cloak settles around a journalist who is writing the truth about a government that would rather the truth stayed silent. In Chicago, that same cloak, identical in every stitch, falls around someone doing harm. The cloak does not know the difference. It cannot. And that is not a flaw in the cloak. That is the nature of protection itself. Encryption works the same way. The mathematical walls that keep a source's identity safe from a dangerous regime are the same mathematical walls that, somewhere else, keep stolen information hidden from those who would recover it. The tool does not choose its user. The depth does not choose what sinks into it. This is the elemental tension at the center of the dark web story. It is not a tension that resolves neatly. It is one we must simply learn to sit beside, the way you might sit beside a river at night, listening to both its gentleness and its power without needing to decide which one is true. There is a phrase that appeared early in the history of onion rooting, spoken quietly among the people who were building the architecture of layered anonymity. The phrase was this: anonymity loves company. It is a beautiful and slightly paradoxical idea. The more people who move through a system of privacy, the safer that system becomes for everyone inside it. The protection is not built from secrecy alone. It is built from numbers, from the sheer diversity of voices and intentions and lives, all traveling through the same deep water together. The dark web's strength does not come from darkness. It comes from community. The United Nations has said, in its careful and deliberate way, that access to the internet is an enabler of fundamental human rights. A doorway, not just to information, but to expression, to identity, to the ability to exist in the world on one's own terms. When seen in that light, the dark web is not an aberration. It is not a mutation or a mistake. It is an extension of something deeply, persistently human. The desire to speak without being silenced, to connect without being exposed, to exist without being watched. There are no simple villains in this story. There are no uncomplicated heroes either. The dark web is a mirror, vast and still, resting at the bottom of the ocean we have been swimming through together. And what you see when you look into it depends entirely on what you bring to the looking. Your fears will find their reflection there. But so will your hopes. So will your belief in the possibility of a space where the vulnerable are protected, where the silenced find voice, where the light, however dim and filtered, still reaches. We have traveled far into these waters tonight. We have passed through layers and encryption and history and shadow. And now, as the current slows and the depths grow quieter still, we find ourselves moving back toward something familiar, back toward the surface, back toward the open ocean, back toward the place where this journey began. And so, here we are, back at the surface, back where the light touches the water gently, where the waves barely whisper, where the whole vast and ancient ocean stretches out around you in every direction, patient, unhurried, and still. We have traveled a long way together tonight, We began here, at the shimmering top of things, where the everyday internet glitters and hums. And then, slowly, we descended. We passed through the twilight of the deep web, those quiet, unlit corridors of private records and personal data, ordinary and unremarkable, simply tucked away from casual view. And then we went further still, down past the place where daylight gives up entirely, down into the dark water. Down there, we found something more complicated than we might have expected. Not a simple place of shadows and danger, though shadows exist there, certainly. We found the researchers, those early dreamers who sat in government laboratories and imagined a form of communication so layered, so wrapped in its own quiet camouflage that no one could trace the thread back to its source. They built something extraordinary. They called it onion routing, and the name still carries a kind of poetry. Layer after layer after layer, each one peeled away only when the time is right. We found the activists, the journalists, the people living under watchful governments who discovered that this strange dark corner of the internet was not a hiding place for fear, but a lifeline for courage. For them, the dark web was not darkness at all. It was a small, steady lantern in an otherwise unforgiving night. We found the idealists whose visions, wide and generous, sometimes outgrew the boundaries of what could be safely managed. And we found the investigators, steady, methodical, endlessly patient, who learned that even in the deepest water, human behavior leaves traces. A habit, a timestamp, a moment of carelessness. The ocean does not keep every secret forever. And still, the dark web remains. It shifts and adapts as oceans do. It reflects back whatever light is brought to it, distorted and rippling, but present. Somewhere in its depths right now, as you rest here quietly, roughly 4.5 million people are moving through it, most of them gently, seeking nothing more than a little privacy, a little space, a little room to breathe in a world that watches so closely, so constantly, that even silence has begun to feel like a luxury. There is something tender in that, if you let yourself feel it. The wish to move unseen, the wish to simply be without being observed. The ocean understands this. It has always kept its deepest places to itself, not out of malice, but out of a quiet, ancient dignity. Some things rest better in the dark. Some things are simply waiting, unhurried, beneath the surface. And now the water is still again. nothing left to seek tonight, nothing left to wonder about or follow or understand. Only this, the soft, slow rhythm of deep water, the hush of something vast and gentle holding you. The ocean keeps its secrets gently. Let it keep you